All right, what are we doing today? Today, we're going to take a Bruiser body that's been previously painted, and we are going to dump it in brake fluid. .3 brake fluid. So we're going to fill up. This is a plastic waste container with a trash bag liner and another heavy plastic bag. We're going to fill the plastic bag up with brake fluid, and we're going to put both of the body sides, the front and the rear of the Bruiser in here, and leave it here in the brake fluid for, I'd say, maybe a couple of days, a day or two, and let the brake fluid soak into the paint. And what should happen is, over a period of a few days, a day or two, is the paint should just start kind of just peeling right off. So let's see if that works out. I've done this before in the past. It's worked out really well, but I've also learned that it also depends on the paint that was used to paint the body. So, sometimes it works, and other times, we're left to try a different one, a different method. Super clean might be one of those methods to use. But so here we have the body inside, and then we're basically going to take the motor oil and take this. This is what I was using to clean the bodies with. So take this out, put that in its place. Let's see if we can get a better feel for that. So, got the body panels in, or the body set in there, the front and the back, and we'll start dumping the brake fluid in here. And then the excess brake fluid, when we're done, we can actually save it into, I have a gallon jug I can put it in. Or if we don't need it anymore, we can take it to Walmart and they'll dispose of it for us. So. Okay. So we are set. We got these things soaking in brake fluid, and we'll leave it here for a few days and let the brake fluid do its thing, and we'll check on it and give you an update in a couple of days. Shouldn't even take a couple of days, probably only take a day, but the oil, the brake fluid isn't going to mess up the plastic no matter how long you leave it in there, so we should be okay. So, stay tuned. All right. So the oil didn't completely cover the entire truck, so we'll just flip it around and do the other half. But as you can see, this is the paint. I'm using a popsicle stick here, but so I don't damage the plastic. But you can see the paint just comes straight off. It's obvious that there was an initial layer of blue paint on there. I might have to keep it in the oil just a little bit more once we peel off the black in order for us to get the blue out, because the oil, because of the black paint, the oil didn't have an opportunity to seep into the blue, to the old blue paint. But you can see I can kind of scrape it right off. I'm willing to bet that if we used an abrasive pad, we could probably scratch off a lot of this paint that's left over as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to just soak it in the oil just a little bit more. See if we can get as much of the rest of it to peel off as possible. But I can tell you, the body is really nice. I don't see any imperfections that might have been fixed up or anything like that. So this is really, really nice, original, vintage body. Here's something cool. Even the primer and the inside's coming off too, so that. That blue paint looks like it could be easily taken off with some solvent, if not a mild sanding. It doesn't look like it's a layered paint. It looks like it's almost like some kind of, I don't want to say watercolor, but it just kind of flows, like it doesn't peel off like the black does. Okay, so let's put it back in the motor oil for a little while longer and see what we come up with in another day or so. I don't see the plastic being soft or weakened, so I think it could survive another day. Okay, let's see what we have at this point. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. There's a there's a lot of peeling. This paint's gonna come off pretty darn easy, but that blue is still an issue. The black top layer, pretty good, and the blue is just an issue only in the sense that it's not peeling off, but the black layer is. Look at that. So I'm thinking I'll try some steel wool to dig into the blue, because I can scrape the blue paint off with the popsicle stick, but it looks like it might still be a bit stubborn in some areas. That's looking really good. Let me see what this other piece here looks like. Okay, so this, yeah, see how the blue is starting to really, after I peeled off the black on this, I had put it back into the oil, and the blue paint is just a lot easier to take off now. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just put the body back into the oil after cleaning some of the black off, and seeing if it just makes that blue paint a lot easier to take out. So that'll wrap it up for now, and I'll keep you posted. So here's an update on where we are with the paint stripping and the painting. So you already saw how I stripped the paint using brake fluid, and although I went over it with an abrasive pad and steel wool, I did the same thing with this one. I did it off camera because it just took so long. Basically, I'm not too worried about what's left on the bottom because you're not going to see this, and after primer we're going to be painting it black, and again you're not going to see it, so it's going to be hard to notice, but it's really hard to take all this paint out of these little tiny ridges everywhere. So I left it as is. Same here, this is going to be a flat black. Took off as much as possible, went over it with a toothpick after the abrasive pad and steel wool, but you know, it's just really hard to get into some of these nicks and crannies. Again, I'm not worried about it. Once we spray it with primer, and then we sand it down, and then we hit it with a coat of flat black, the flat black is going to make some of this stuff highly unnoticeable, so I'm not worried about it. There was a lot of imperfections. It usually comes out when you sandblast a car. Here, it usually comes out when you strip the paint. This was all really rough, and I think what happened is some of the glue that was used here had seeped down, so a lot of this needed to be sanded down. There were some inconsistencies up here on the roof that I had to sand down. At first I thought it was cracked, but really what it was is they're uniform, so I just think that they're just mold, just little mold imperfections. So from the molding, so I basically sanded that down smooth. So anyways, this for the most part is ready for primer, and I'm not worried about any little pieces that it covers. So as you can see, this has already been primered, and it came out really nice. I just need to go over it with some steel wool, smooth it out, and don't think I'll put another coat. I'm just going to go right straight into the color I'm gonna spray it with, and that color is going to be mica blue. So anything that it didn't quite get into these little crevices that still have a little bit of blue paint from the previous, I'm not worried about, because the final is going to be a mica blue, so you won't really be able to tell any of the imperfections. But came out really nice. You can tell it's an old school vintage body because it actually has, you know, the logo embossed on the side here. The new ones don't. Yeah, so we're ready to basically steel wool that and almost ready for paint.
The only other thing I wanted to point out here is there is supposed to be a tab here, and it broke. I don't know if it was already on its way out, or if the motor oil softened it enough to where it was just easily broken. But I barely tapped it and just kind of broke off. So we'll just super glue that, that back on. No big deal. It's all it does is just hold the top piece of the body in place, but it's not really even necessary, because this has these little ridges here. I may not even put it on. I'll just see how it goes with these little ridges, but it basically just holds the body tight. And then the last is, we already got the front face plate painted. So we primered it and painted it a metallic gray. We're going to paint the rear bumper and the front bumper and the side Nerf bars a metallic gray. I think that'll really go nicely with the mica blue once we got that. So this is going to be sweet. Just about done, at least with the body. Ordered the reproduction windows and in reproduction interior for it. Actually, it's not repro. The windows repro, but the interior, I believe, is off of the recently re-released Bruiser. So, anyways, that's the update. We'll get this thing primed, get this thing cleaned up. And so the next time you see this, I'll just show you the final 2 prime pieces completely ready for paint, and then we'll go from there. Well, now that we have both body parts primed, what we're going to do is we're going to put the first coat of mica blue. Ultimately, we'll end up painting the bed flat black. We'll ultimately mask off the back side of this and paint it a metal or a gunmetal gray of some sort. And then we'll detail the windows and stuff. But first is first, mica blue will blacken the underneath. The body, again, mica blue will blacken the underneath. The inside of the cab will be mica blue as well, so it matches. We put the tab back on. We reinforced it, so it's super glue, but I'm gonna show you what I use to do that, because super glue only goes so far. When I have stuff like this that I need to glue and it needs to be strong, the problem with super glue is it takes a while to set, and even then, if there's gaps, it's still loose. And I'm not paid for this, but this product is insanely awesome. You basically dab on some of the super glue, and then you spray a little tiny bit of this Instaset, and it immediately just hardens, and this thing is strong as a rock. It is not, unless I break it off, this thing is not coming off. And just basically reinforced it on the bottom. I've used super glue with baking powder or baking soda or whatever. The baking soda absorbs the super glue and it sets in and hardens, but that doesn't even compare to this stuff. So Bob Smith Industries, Maxicure and Instaset, amazing combination. I just can't say enough good things about that. And here's what we're going with. We're going to go with the Tamiya TS50 mica blue. So I'll give you another update once we get this painted. See where we go from here.